Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for coming out tonight to I Am an Entrepreneur. It's about to die. Okay. Um, Thank you again. I know it's rainy and it's dark. Our program format is going to be a Q&A with, I'll introduce the panelists. Then we'll have a panel Q&A. We're going to give them about 10 minutes each to talk about some things, and then everybody will have an opportunity to speak with them. And following that, it'll be an opportunity to mix and mingle. We have food. Some of you have it already, but it'll probably still be there when you're done. So, food and drinks and people. So, meet, share, and connect at that time, okay? Again, thank you for coming. Okay, so first we have Sharice Duncan. She is the president and CEO of Efficio Incorporated. Did I say that right? Efficio Incorporated, and she's one of the most sought after speakers and business strategists by organizations and entrepreneurs alike. She has served as an advocate of entrepreneurship for over 2 decades, and has developed and taught entrepreneurial training for entrepreneurs, professionals, and business owners around the world. And she has 5 business ventures, guys. So ask her about it during the mix and mingle. We have Mike Palmer at the other end of the table, and he is the owner and president of Mike Palmer Homes. He's a licensed general contractor with more than 30 years of experience in the residential construction industry. He's built homes all around the Charlotte area, and building a home with Mike is really a personal experience for him. We also have Drew Carpentino. He has helped people invest in franchises both as an executive and a franchise consultant since 2006. And he's currently a franchise consultant and advisor for FranChoice. Drew also serves as an ambassador for SCORE Charlotte. We have Jessica Davis. Jessica began her career in website design, and her passion has always been helping businesses expand their reach via web-based strategic thinking. Jessica currently works as the digital channel leader for the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library, and Jessica has worked in several capacities across many verticals throughout her career, including online marketing, social media, and analytics. Then we have Brandy Fox. Brandy Fox is the founder and CEO of Pamper Us Mobile Massage Service, Charlotte's first mobile spa company, and the Pamper Lounge, North Carolina's first spa on wheels. Her business is a 5-star mobile spa company and has had the opportunity to serve some of Charlotte's top personalities and companies. She is currently the chapter ambassador of West Charlotte High School for a youth entrepreneurship program called Stiletto Bosch University. And her goal is to use her leadership and entrepreneurial knowledge to help others and to become minority entrepreneurs. What I'm going to ask each panelist to do at this time is I'm going to ask them to answer 2 questions for me, and at the end, if we have time, then I'll ask a 3rd question. But we're just gonna go down the line, starting with Sharice. Yes, Sharice. She's gonna elaborate more on startups, but a few of the questions that I'd like to ask are, for you to give us your elevator pitch, like sell yourself, sell, your skills and your experience, and also to share your best advice for entrepreneurs on their respective topics. If you could just go ahead, and then following Sharice will be Mike.
I do know technology. I do. I'm Sharice Duncan, and I work with entrepreneurs, and I help them transmogrify their mindsets so that they can focus, fully engage, and finish what they start. Internal infrastructure, strategy, financials, marketing, human capital, and also to make sure that they're focused on getting to the core of their business. So that's my elevator pitch. And the pieces of advice that I would start off with, the first one is that you cannot do what you need to do professionally until you deal with yourself personally. And I'm talking about not just baggage, but excess baggage. And one of the things that I hear a lot when I ask people about their strengths and their weaknesses, what are you good at? What are you not so good at? The first weakness that they mention is procrastination. Procrastination is not a weakness, it is a choice. And this is what I'm talking about with excess baggage, the procrastination, the engaging in processes and things that are overwhelming or that you can't keep up with, setting deadlines that you can't keep. So what happens is you pile on things and you pile on things and it becomes baggage and you never get to what you really need to do. But these are not professional or business issues. They're personal issues. It's the way that you do things, the way that you think, and the way that you perceive and the way that you learn. So you have to recognize the difference between the professional strengths and weaknesses and the personal strengths and weaknesses. So that would be the first one. The second one is to finish what you start. A lot of startup companies, they'll start with a sales process, developing a product or a service, and they don't finish the full process of developing the sales process, of developing the idea, of even building the business. They don't go from beginning to end. And my advice in this area would be is to finish what you start, because you may not end up eventually with what you finish with, but what you're going to learn is the process to do it. So that's what you need to focus on, is I need to be able to start from the beginning and to finish something so that I can duplicate that process and those steps to anything and everything that I do. So it's about learning the process, learning the pros and cons, but you have to actually finish what you start. The other thing is to set goals, action items, prioritize them, and work on them one at a time. This is basic small business 101, but it's about understanding the true definition of setting a goal, an action item, and prioritizing and working on them. It's about execution. So if you can set goals, you're organized, but if you can't execute things and see the results, that's where your goal setting process is not working. So that goal setting on the CEO level, the owner of your company, not the manager, not the leader, not the worker, but the owner of the company. There are certain goals that you need to set that are separate from build a website, hire a team, right? Implement computer technology, make decisions about this. There are certain higher level goals that you need to set for yourself as the owner of your company that you really need to focus on. Get street smart. And when I talk about get street smart, I'm talking about I have the professional smarts, I have the book smarts, but I also have the street smarts. So I'm talking about persuasion skills, negotiation skills. And there's something called positive manipulation. Manipulation is actually not a negative word. You can find it in the library, right here. But learning how to get people to do things that you want them to do in a positive way. I can communicate, talk, educate, share, network at any moment, at any level, with anyone, at any time. But it's not because I just know the book smarts and can decipher and tell you every guru that I've met or every book that I've read. You take the knowledge and you apply it out there with who you want to do business with, who you want to collaborate with, and who you want to know about your brand. You need to know how to deal with people on multiple levels, and you need to be ready at any moment, at any time, with anyone. So that's street smarts. And the last thing, and I really encourage you, is you have to choose one or the other. You need to either be the wolf or you need to be the sheep. You can't be both as an entrepreneur. Think about it this way. You can't lead the people that you're trying to fit in with, right? You can't lead those people if you're trying to fit into their world and be in their lives and be their friends and take them to lunch. Either you're a leader or you want to be in with the in crowd. So as an entrepreneur, you have to figure out, are you the wolf or are you the sheep? Are you the visionary or are you the leader? And there's distinct differences with your activities, the resources, how you present yourself, perception, image that you have to portray, and as they call level up to in order for you to reach your vision. It doesn't mean be mean or not accepting. It's a matter of coexisting. But you don't go to networking events to make friends. You also don't necessarily go to networking events with friends. You go to networking events to build profitable relationships. You come to events like this, and you should meet every single person in this room so you can make the decision of whether or not they should be your client, collaborator, or cheerleader. So if I were to leave you with the last quote that I love to say is, in order to think out of the box, you need to realize that there is no box.
Next we have Mike Palmer, and he'll be talking more about the finance aspects of business. But first, can you give us your elevator pitch and share your best advice for entrepreneurs?
Okay, my elevator pitch. We build homes that we're really proud of, but we are first and foremost a media company raising awareness of issues in our industry. I've come to a lot of these panel discussions, but I was always sitting in the audience looking up at the entrepreneurs. I'm still kind of shocked that I'm up here because I feel like I'm down there. But if I'm going to give anybody advice, I think the way we're all going now, we're not companies that do A, B, and C. We're all media companies who happen to do product X. I think the opportunity before us now is something that has really worked for me well, is take your phone, start talking about what you do, put it up there on the internet, and over time you will find a tribe. And once they start coming, they don't stop coming. So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, that's my biggest advice right there. The rest will fall into place.
You want to talk a little bit about finance?
Oh, finance, sure. My business, we buy and sell properties, we put up buildings, we flip properties, we rent properties, and I also have some other businesses where we do flooring and stone. And when we started, unless we wanted to build a house, and we knew a lot, we were good carpenters and we were deck builders, and we had this little company in our pickup trucks, and we made enough to scrape by and get the bills, but we really didn't have any money, and we needed $20,000 to buy a building lot and go get a bank loan. So we had no idea where we were going to get it, but we voiced our opinion, and sure enough, my partner's father said, I will take a home equity loan out. You guys got to go, I'll loan you the money for your down payment. So we went with our wives to the bank, and we all had to sign, all four of us, with our little credit rating and our, fortunately I was married to a county employee with a very good income, and we went and we got our first loan. Now, at the time, we didn't know that the worst thing you can say to a banker is, I want to start a restaurant. The second worst thing you can say to a banker is, I want to build a spec house and sell it. But small town, they knew us, they loaned us the money anyway. We built the house, we worked on it, we painted it, we did all kinds of work on it, blood, sweat, and tears for 8 months, and we made $7,000 to split. And we realized, okay, we would have done better at McDonald's. So we said, all right, we did it again. And it was about the same result. And then we said, okay, we really need to learn what we're doing here, because this has been a big waste of our time, and I want to get some benefit. So then we started making some, profits that were respectable with the industry. So once you borrow from the bank 4 or 5 times, they start to loan to you. But right now there's a country club that is bringing me in. They're providing the money to build 4 houses. Actually 3, I have to provide the money for 1. But they're funding the whole thing just because they've seen results. So it all started with one little trickle. We really didn't know what we were doing, but if I'm going to give advice on it, is go forward, put together your plan. If your plan is good, the money will be there. And if you go out and fall on your face, then you'll know better next time. But it's just a matter of going forward and taking the first step. You can sit there and analyze forever. As far as real estate financing for rental properties, I have to go to the bank and show them the income that this makes sense. And then they make you sign your life away, that they will ruin your life if you don't pay them. And I built a commercial property that I still own. I built it right before the downturn. Went hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt, and as soon as I got done, put up a sign to rent things, and there was tumbleweeds going by. Businesses were closing all over the place. It was right when Rome was burning in the downturn. That was kind of stressful. I really got scared. I thought I had ruined things for ourselves and our family, but we make these things a lot worse in our mind than they are in reality. So now it's a profitable building, and we're looking at building some more. Once you borrow successfully from the lending institutions, they tend to, now they come to me. So that's how it started. But all I can offer you is the financing that I've done. Now I loan people, house flippers, I loan them money. I've got some of that going on. So it's really nice to just put your money out and have it generate an income.
So we'll have Drew next, and Drew is going to talk about the legal considerations in business. But first, he's going to give us his elevator pitch, and he's going to share his best advice to entrepreneurs.
And I am not an attorney, and I don't want to be. So this is getting recorded, so you're gonna get, entrepreneurial legal advice, not attorney legal advice. But I'm here representing SCORE Charlotte. So for anybody who's not familiar with SCORE, we are a federally funded organization, kind of a division of the Small Business Administration. We're located off Fairview Road, and what we do is we provide free coaching and resources and advisors to anybody who wants to start a business or anybody who's in business and just wants some help. We're a bunch of volunteers. Most of the people working there have a lot more gray hair than I do. They're retired, but we also have some people that are in business. So it's a great resource for anybody who's thinking about starting a business. We have workshops and whatnot. So check us out. We have I think it's charlottescore.org, and everything's free except for one of the workshops you have to pay for, but you can check it out. But my background's in franchising, so I fell into it about 12 years ago accidentally, and ended up franchising a company nationally, and then I franchised a second company internationally, and so now I help people find franchises and find good ones that are good fits for what they want to do. So I've worked with a few hundred people over my career, invest in, build, grow, and sell their businesses. I've seen people do it really well, and I've seen people do it really not well. So I think at the end of the day, the biggest piece of advice that I have for a lot of people in this room how many people are in business, like have their own business? Okay, a lot. So exit strategy, like have the end in mind a little bit in terms of like what your plan is long term with the business. And if you kind of have that mindset of building the business to a point where you can transfer it to somebody else, then that drives up the value of your business, which increases the payday that you get by building a successful business that's cash flowing positively and is not solely reliant on you. So the less reliant it is on you, the more valuable it is to somebody else, which means the more money they're going to pay you. So there is no magic formula to value a business. It's what somebody's willing to pay you for that business. So the more transferable it is, the broader your potential buyer pool is. So I think that's one thing that I work with a lot of people that they don't really think about kind of what their end game is in building the business. Obviously they want to build a business that's producing a healthy income and is producing a healthy lifestyle for them. But kind of having that end in mind can kind of help you build the business and go through those tough days and weeks and months and, get to the business to a point where you're happy with it. So, as far as legal stuff goes, man. So I think at the end of the day, the biggest thing with me, again, I'm not an attorney and I'm not qualified to be giving anybody legal advice about small business, but they put me up here, and so I'm going to talk about it. I'm just kidding. You got business decisions and you have legal decisions, right? Like any good business owner and entrepreneur is going to have a team of people advising them on the decisions that they need to make, right? It's you weigh your upside, you weigh your downside, and you make a decision and you do the best you can. Sometimes when you're in a facing a legal decision, it's great to get legal advice, and there are, a lot of legal aspects to consider before making the decision, but sometimes there's business decisions too that somebody might want to tell you it's more of a legal decision. So that's kind of like having that distinction in your head between a business decision and a legal decision is kind of a good way to, kind of filter out some of those tough decisions you might have to make if you're, when it's, you have a contract involved or whatever it may be. I do think a good attorney is worth their weight in gold. And yes, they're freaking expensive, but they can help you in terms of, getting a good terms of service agreement written up for whatever your business may be that the customers agree to when they contract with you to purchase the services that your business offers. That's, getting an attorney to help write that stuff up is worth its weight long term. Does anybody have any questions about legal stuff before I just start jibber jabbering? Kind of on the top of their mind that maybe me or somebody a heck of a lot more qualified on this panel can can answer for you guys? So like all the paperwork to file with the state and the federal government to become a 501c3? No, I think it's a pain in the butt. Everything I've heard, you've got to do it, and you could come to SCORE. I mean, SCORE might be able to. We have some folks that have a broad background in nonprofits that they might be able to help you kind of navigate through that paperwork stuff. But I don't think there's any way to shortcut it, unless you looked at LegalZoom. They might have figured it out, template it. But you know what LegalZoom is? Yeah, they might have figured it out, but any attorney's gonna not be happy. I just told you that. So, any other questions about anything legal-wise? Yeah, so like accountants, attorneys, insurance agents, you know, that's your team, right? As you're building a small business that you're gonna need to rely on when you know you might have somebody's coming at you with something that you know your business may or may not have done. You know, it's like my you know how they always say the customer's always right. Yeah, no, the customer's always wrong. You just need to make sure they feel like they're right at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. So sorry, I don't have any profound wisdom for you here on legal stuff, other than you know, if you don't have a good attorney, like a lot of times, other business owners that you know, other small business owners that you might know, or resources like SCORE. You know, there's a lot of free resources out there in the community that can help you get connected with you know, different attorneys or accountants or anything really related to small business. There's a ton of free stuff out there, like you guys are doing tonight, plugging into that stuff. So if you have any questions, you know, you can book an appointment at SCORE. We host appointments typically Monday through Friday. We host 4 a day. 10, 11, 1, and 2, and it kind of depends on who's on office duty that day in terms of which you know, subject matter you might get. But you can kind of call, and you know, if you have a specialized request, then come in and we can try to get you matched up with somebody who might be able to help you.
Thank you, Drew.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Okay, so next we have Jessica Davis. Just gonna ask that you give us your elevator pitch and your best advice for entrepreneurs, and then you can go into talking about web development, maintenance, those kinds of things.
Okay, not a problem. So my name is Jessica Davis. I am the digital channel leader. I have to say that slow because it's a new position that I've had for a whole month. And I manage the library's websites. We have 9 of them. And both of the library's mobile apps. And I've been doing this almost 20 years now, which is a very, very long time. I started out in web design and development. I got bored, went into marketing. I got bored, and then went into analytics, and I found my passion. So that's really what I do, is getting people, once you have your website up and running, knowing what to do with it after that. So the best piece of advice I could give you is, actually there's 2. The first is, you would never go to visit a client or a customer, or you would never go and speak in front of people and not have taken a shower, not have brushed your teeth, not have done your hair. You need to put as much effort into your website as you do your appearance, because your website is you. It is who you are when you're sleeping, because your website can be selling for you when you're not available. And that's the best thing about it. Using it as a way to make funds, collect leads, get people to respond to you when you're not working. That way you have the ability to be out there and spreading your information, spreading knowledge about yourself. And then when you go to bed, everybody goes home after work, starts researching, they're gonna look you up, and you wanna make sure that what they see is as good as what you produced when they met you. Understand? The second piece of advice is probably the one thing that I found small business owners just don't do. And it's because they don't know how. And then when they figure it out, it's like, well, that sounds really hard and I don't want to do that. But if you do not do this, you will fail. And you have to measure everything that you do. So you set your goals, but then you need to measure against that. Your website, it brings in how many people? Your social media, you've got what? 500 people following you, 1,500 people following you. That's great. How many of them bought from you? The number, the base number doesn't matter. It's the conversion. It's them, they came, they saw you, they liked you, and then what? Because having a bunch of people like you isn't going to put money in your pocket. You have to get them to do something, and that's called a conversion. So those two things, spend some money on your website, make it look good. You can do the whole Squarespace thing and use a template if you like. I wouldn't, because the templates are not as customizable as you think they are, so your site is going to look like someone else's. Put some money into it. Have someone build something for you. $2,500, $3,000 spent on a website. If you're marketing it correctly, you'll get that money back. This is an investment, okay? And like I said, it's selling for you when you're not being able to sell for yourself. And then measuring everything that you do, having targets. If you want to make a sale this month, you want to make, $4,000 in sales, back into it. How many people do you need to meet? How many people do you need to bring to your website? And then from there, how many leads do you need to connect? And then from there, how many sales do you need to make? That's called a funnel. And so the number's gonna get smaller and smaller the more, the further somebody goes through your funnel. So you want the starting number to be as big as possible. You reach as many people as possible. People are going to fall off. Everybody doesn't want what you're selling, and that's okay. They fall off, but then the next people, they want to contact you. They want to provide their information to you. Wonderful. From there, you need to be able to sell them. So the number's going to get smaller, but if your price point on your products is right, then it really won't matter. You'll know, because you're measuring, right? You'll know how many people you need to convert at the end of the month to make your sales quota. So those are my two.
And lastly, we have Brandy Fox, and she is going to give us her elevator pitch, give us her best advice for entrepreneurs, and then she's going to talk to us a little bit about marketing.
Hi guys, I am Brandy Fox and I am the owner of Pamper Us Mobile Massage Service, and we specialize in 100% mobile, corporate and residential massage therapy, nail, makeup, and private chef services throughout the Charlotte metro area. We are also the home of the Pamper Lounge, which is North Carolina's first spa on wheels, where we conduct corporate and residential spa services, including massage therapy and nail services. So in a nutshell, we are your mobile self-care company. Any way that you want to get self-care, we can do it. Pamper Us has been an amazing experience for me as an entrepreneur. I consider myself a bootstrap queen. I have literally built my business from one massage therapist to over 40 people working for me now in the past 7 years. And I literally did it with minimal money. My website, my website I did, my first one, I kind of did it myself. I started with Wix that worked for me. I know sometimes the templates can be a little difficult, but the good thing I like about online sources now is that you have the ability to get the help you need. You can kind of YouTube anything that I need to know how to do, I want to learn, I want to just do better at, I always YouTube it. My goal, especially being a mother and having to be resourceful, is to always find the most cost-efficient way to meet whatever need I have going on. So I would say some tips that I use, and like I said, this is coming from bootstrapping. So I know being an entrepreneur, we all don't have the benefits of, like Mike, having somebody that's willing to give you $20,000, or we might not have the budget to build a $3,000 website. So what do you do when you hit that point? What do you do when you reach a point where you can't afford that, but you still want to move your business forward? For me, I connect. I'm a connector. I naturally get along with people. I love to meet new people. I love to network. I love to get out. And that has really been the foundation of my success. Going out here and meeting people who are right where I am. The benefit of that, I don't even know if this mic is working. I'm gonna put it down. So the benefit of that is that I've been able to create an amazing team as I've grown. So for example, my website designer, after I did my first one, I ended up meeting one of my good friends, and she was going into website design. So we got together. I was like, hey, girl, I need a new website. She was like, well, hey, I'm just starting out with website. She gave me an amazing price. I think she bought my website for $150. Boom. My first little website was done. I was excited. You couldn't tell me anything. So I say that to say, find people who are on your level. Sometimes we all can't jump out there and get a marketing company behind us or get a whole graphic designer behind us. That's when you really have to get resourceful as an entrepreneur and use your resources around you to kind of grow your business. Find people that are where you are. If you know somebody that's in a startup with something that you need, connect with that person because they need business. You need a service done. So by coming together, you guys are able to help each other. And that's really what the entrepreneur space is about, is helping each other, especially in Charlotte. Startup has gotten so big in the past 2 years. It's so crazy. You guys have so many amazing resources. I am a user of SCORE. That was actually the first place I went to when I started my business to get my basic needs met as far as like what I need to do, who I need to communicate with, who I should talk to. SCORE was really amazing for me because I didn't have the funds to go get a business consultant. So to have these type of people that are experts in their field to be able to take time out of their day, and they can do it via web, telephone, or you can go into the office, it was an amazing resource for me because once again, I'm all about bootstrapping. In addition, I would say when you're going into your business, figure out your overhead costs. I'm fortunate enough that I went into a business where my overhead cost was minimal. For example, I think my first year, I might have spent $150 on marketing. That's all year. Because I just didn't have it. I was like doing my own social media posts. I was doing my own everything. But that year, I brought in $5,000. I was happy. I'm like, shoot, I only spent $150, but I was able to get 5,000 in customers. That's amazing. So that let me know. They gave me a different perspective of what I wanted to do, what I needed to do as an entrepreneur. How much of this can I do on my own before I need to contract somebody out or buy somebody or get somebody in a position that I need? Because that's the thing I see with a lot of entrepreneurs is when we hop out, we think that we need a lot. We need this. Next thing you know, you have all these bills and no income to cover anything that you just put on. So for me, what I did and it worked, I held out as long as I could. Any part of my business that I could do by myself, I literally held on to it until I just couldn't. Business was growing so much that I couldn't do it. The other thing I would say is don't be afraid to ask for help. You will be so amazed at the people who just want to help you. If somebody sees you working hard, they see you out here grinding, they're going to want to help you, and sometimes for free. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people, they just kind of helped me out. Drew was actually one of my mentors, so when I saw him out here tonight, when I saw his name on the panel, I was really excited because for me, I was thinking about franchising my business, and me and Drew were able to talk. I told him about my goals, what I'm trying to do, and he was able to give me some a lot of amazing information for me to be able to know what I need to do with my business that I probably would have paid in the consultant probably $100 an hour to get. But Drew, he recognized what I was trying to do. He knew the type of person I was and the hard work I was willing to put in. So when people see that in you, they're willing to invest their time, their advice into you, and that's the kind of relationships you want to build. The relationship's that's going to keep growing, put you at your next level, and even though it might be someone that you can't use now because you might not be able to afford them full term at full capacity, that's somebody that you now have in your Rolodex, I use that loosely, to be able to go back to, because it's people that I've created relationships with 2 and 3 years ago, and now they see where I'm at. They're like, oh my goodness, just to see your growth. And then now I have a referral. Now I have new customers. Now I continue to grow. And lastly, I would say your reputation. Your reputation is everything. Everything. Charlotte, for it to be so big, it is so small. And all it takes is one bad experience to really bring your startup down. So when I say reputation, I mean all aspects of it. Not just business, but personal. Whenever I go anywhere and I'm representing Pamper Us, I always make sure I have my best foot forward. I have a smile on my face. Well, I have that on most of the time anyway, but I try to make sure I'm always in a good mood. I try to make sure I'm genuine. I try to make sure I'm authentic, because who y'all seeing right here this is the type of person that I am all the time. So anybody that sees me anywhere, they know exactly who I am. They know exactly what I'm about. And that gives me the ability for them to trust me, not only personally, but also in my business, because they feel like if I handle myself personally like this, I know that she's going to do the same thing with her business. So that gave me the opportunity to kind of grow my business, because going into the mobile aspect, a lot of people are uncomfortable about somebody coming in their house and giving them a massage. But after meeting me, knowing what I'm about, hearing about my business, they were willing to give me an opportunity. That opportunity turned to word of mouth. That has been my biggest seller for my business. Just people referring me out like, hey, I got this amazing massage. Brandy's company is amazing. And then it just kind of trickled from there. So I would say mind your reputation. Wherever you are, whatever you do, just remember that people are always watching you and they're going to remember you. And when they hear your name tied to a business, you want to make sure that it's something amazing. Like, for example, when I talked to Cherie, she was like, I think I heard of your business. I was like, was it something good? You know, like I'm always asking, I'm like, I'm hoping it's good. And she was like, yeah. So, you know, just to hear that when you've been, like I said, I've been in my business 7 years. I started when I was 21. And so just to see where it's been and how it's grown, I'm grateful, I'm blessed. And outside of that, I do help other startups. So if you are a startup that's looking for assistance or you have questions, please feel free to follow me on Instagram, b.the.entrepreneur. I post tips all the time. I post startup tips, bootstrapping tips, everything you kind of need as a new entrepreneur, especially in the Charlotte area, to get you going, because sometimes you can feel lost in all the mix and match that come with business when you read books. But I have created a way and an atmosphere for us to kind of work together and get you the basic needs you need to start getting that revenue in and then grow from there. And that's it.
So at this time, this is the portion where we open up the floor for anybody to ask someone on the panel any questions. So if you have any questions, if anybody, okay, I'm coming with a mic. Okay.
Hello, thanks so much. I have a question for Jessica. You mentioned the templates. You don't want your website to look like others, but if you're a startup, you may see a company that is similar and you're like, I want my website to look kind of like that. You know what I mean? So you don't want to be a replica. So how do you work around that to give advice to the folks that are helping you?
So what I tell my clients, you need to send me 5 to 10 websites that you like. When you're working with a developer, don't just say, I want a website. You have to kind of give them something to work off of. Oftentimes when people use templates, because they're novices, they don't make major changes to the look and feel. And so that's why the sites end up looking all the same. But when you're looking at other sites, if you like the way the menu looks, or you like the layout, or you like the color scheme, those things, to be able to take that from another company, that's the whole purpose. You know, you put stuff out there and you want people to like it enough that they would take it. That's the best compliment, right? So yeah, that's completely fine. But what you want to do is Frankenstein something together. So you're going to pull from various places.
I agree with what you said. It's important to have a good website, but I also feel I wouldn't have a good website now if I didn't somebody built me my first one, but it was really crummy. I didn't know any better. I wanted a website. It was a heck of a lot better than the website I had, but you know, it's almost like you have to have, I almost felt I had to have a bad website before I even knew exactly what a good website was, because it's a website. You know? And now I really appreciate talent, but at first, I mean, I spent a lot of money on my website, and I had somebody really do me favors. At first, I didn't have any money. So, you know, I did have somebody loan us money, but we put that right in the land. It was gone, and it had to be paid back. So, anyway, I'm a big advocate. Jump in, do something really crappy, and then you'll learn how to do it better. So.
How would you know if your website won't crash if, like, you get like 1,000, 100,000 people on it? What kind of website would you need? Like, what kind of, would that be one of them? You got a good business. You think so?
Yeah, I would say when you're setting up your website, you're going to get website hosting. you want to make sure that you have a large enough bandwidth. That's what the term is called. So what was it? 2001 is the first time we heard of a major crash. Toys R Us crashed at the start of the holiday buying season. And ever since then, I've just kept that in my head, like, ooh, got to make sure you got that bandwidth. So when you're going to get website hosting, look for how much bandwidth they're going to give you. If you're just starting out, you don't need a lot because it's expensive. But as you go up, and you have more people coming to your site, then you're going to want to have more bandwidth. And so that would be a larger package, but yeah.
Are there any other questions?
Hi, how are you? I just wanted to know, Jessica, do you actually help young startup companies build a website, or is that something that you just speak to?
Yes.
I actually do, but because I work for the library, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that. But I do. My side company is called Level 360. My website is level360.co. And I also work with a company called Foodpreneur Institute, and they help food businesses. So if you are a home-based baker or a home-based food crafter, like you make sauces and rubs and all that kind of stuff, there's a law here in the state of North Carolina called a cottage food law. And it essentially allows you to bake and make things from your home so you don't have to get a commercial kitchen. And I work with that company to help their people essentially build out their full web presence, their website, and their social media. I'm a digital strategist, which is not marketing. Digital strategy is not marketing. It is the strategy behind your entire digital presence. So.
Hello. Hey. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being so brave and educating us. My question, and there goes my camera. Thank you. My question is for everyone. If you could tell me, what is the book that has spearheaded your entrepreneurship? Thank you.
My number one book is this book called Grit by Angela Duckworth. That is an amazing book. It really talks about resiliency and how it really affects your business, you in general. My second one, it's not really a book, kind of it is, but The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That is an amazing read as well. I have the mini book. I have the little cards that I actually have on my business wall as well. If you haven't engaged in that or even got the 7 principles that's in there, I highly suggest both of those books, Grit by Angela Duckworth and 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Grit. Yeah, Grit.
The book that I would say, I have several books, but I would say Thick Face, Black Heart. And it's by Chen Ning Chu. And C-H-U, Chen, C-H-I-N, N-U. Okay, yeah. And it's called Thick Face, Black Heart. And I really believe in mental energy. And I've been in business for 23 years now. And so during that process, you know, you go back to the beginning and you go through your development. You go back to the beginning, you go through your development because things change, industries change, target markets change. And in order to stay adaptable to the market, to make sure that you stay competitive, I have found you have to have that mental energy to do what you need to do. The power comes from how you think, how you learn, and how you perceive. And this particular book talks about those mental capacities, and also it goes into how that translates into the activities that you do in your business and in your life. And I know a lot of people say that they have this saying everywhere, you know, it's not personal, it's business. Well, that's not true. As an entrepreneur, your business is personal because it comes from you. It has your DNA in it. So it is personal and it is business, but I'm not taking you personally. So I think that would be the better saying, is like this is definitely a process. So that book is I would say it's a thick book, but it would be a really, really good read for especially startup companies.
My favorite book when it comes to anytime I need to figure something out with regards to my business or anybody else's is not actually a business book. It is The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And you can use the book for evil. So be very, very careful. But it's got a lot of great, similar to Grit, a lot of great nuggets of information that kind of help you get through some of the nuances of running a business, running a startup, and essentially getting out there and remembering the whole reason why you're running your business to begin with.
It's two for me. One of them is a book called Moneyball by Michael Lewis. They made a movie out of it. The book's pretty good. It just kind of helps you. Like, to me, the biggest takeaway was the impact it had was on my mindset and how you can look at things differently than most people do. And you can, a lot of times, if you have that kind of perspective, you might be able to figure out how to do a heck of a lot more with less, like he did with the Oakland A's during that season that the book is about. And then the Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. I think that's a good one because it just kind of takes you through the different progressions of mindset as a entrepreneur, from somebody who's kind of self-employed all the way up to kind of a capitalist kind of perspective. So it's a good one.
Okay, the one that really had the most that changed me, a little background, I was working very, very hard, and I was getting into my late 30s, and physically my body was starting to break down. And I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and I just devoured that, and Cash Flow Quadrant, and I saw the world differently. And I had a very patient wife because we had small children. I'd spend my nights reading, and she's like, I'm kind of drowning here with these little kids. But anyway, that was the main one. And currently, one called Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk. Just kind of details just about anything that you know anything about can be turned into money on the internet. Vaynerchuk, they call him Gary V-E-E. You just put it Crushing It on Amazon. You'll find it.
Hi, this one is for Brandy. Now, Brandy, when you started your mobile spa, did you have to end up doing a business plan, or you just kind of, because you had experience, you just kind of went and did your own plan, or did you have to go to someone to do a business plan to kind of get it up-started, since it was something different here in Charlotte?
Definitely. I actually use the SBA Score. They have a whole business plan template. It's free. It's about 25 pages. So my updated one was 25 pages. But I love that template because it actually breaks down the fields for you. So it has you do your executive summary, your goal setting, your cost to run, cost of operation. It breaks every little piece of your business down over 25 pages. And it worked for me because I was able to kind of break it down in pieces, because like I said, I was 21. So I was a wife, a mother, and I was in college and working. So I had to break it down. It took me about a month and 4 days to get my whole business plan done. And like I said, I just took it literally piece by piece. Every night I did this section, that section, and I just kept going through. I highly suggest a business plan for anybody that's going into business, because that's literally like your roadmap to what you're doing, how you're going to get there. And it's always something that you're going to check again. Like I just did an updated business plan for 2018 because my goals for my business has changed. And as your goals change, your business plan will change, because the processes you need to put in place are going to change for as you grow your business. So definitely have a business plan. Like I said, SBA Score, if you type it in, free business plan template on Google, it'll pop up. It has everything you need to kind of get your business ideas all in one place.
Hi, this question is for Brandy too. What are some of the ways that you use bootstrapping to kind of market your business and increase your sales when you first started?
Networking events. I went to it's a little different now, because I feel like now it's more like a lounge, I kind of want to be seen type thing. But back in 2011, when I started my business, these networking events in Charlotte, and there's still some good ones, but they were amazing. Like, you really had a lot of entrepreneurs that were where I was. They were hungry, they wanted to connect with other people, and they were looking for opportunities within the room. When you put yourself in that type of perspective, you're able to meet anybody. So my thing was, I didn't have the money to reach people digitally, but I definitely have the personality and I have the time to come to these events and connect with as many people as possible. And when I say connect, I'm not just saying get their business cards, I'm gonna call you back tomorrow. I mean literally talking to people, seeing what their business is about, see if my business can help their business, and if not, can your business help my business? How can we collaborate? Some of my biggest opportunities have came from me just talking to people, and you will be amazed. People realize kind of they need you. Like, for example, if I say, hey, I own a mobile massage business, we do corporate events. Oh, my job was just looking for somebody to come on and do massages. Boom. In a matter of 2 minutes, I just got connected to a company. That company is leading me to my residents that now I can do massages in their home. So it's like a trickle-down effect. So for me, it was selling me. That's how I got my first set of customers. Then I transitioned that into my social media. Right now is the best time for social media because algorithms are like the key to everything. Just really studying your algorithms, your hashtags, all those kind of things. It puts us as entrepreneurs in a better place because now a lot of things that you had to pay for, and even when you get to a certain level, you're definitely gonna have to pay for it when you're ready to kind of expand, but you can literally bootstrap yourself and connect with people that you never were able to connect with just by putting the right keywords in, taglines, all those kind of things. It opens the door to so many people that never would have known about your business, and it's just using the perfect words.
Anybody else?
And I was going to say something else. I think what you said is right on. It's changed in terms of networking, but have you guys heard of social media takeovers? So in using social media, what we do is we do social media takeovers. So influencer marketing is really popular right now, where you have individuals are shooting videos or they're doing Insta stories, or whether it's Instagram and YouTube are the top two right now for social media takeovers. But these individuals, they have millions of followers, and these companies are connecting with these influencers to say, show my brand. Like you might have a yoga instructor who does yoga exercises and she taps into a certain market, and so you have companies who have yoga gear who wants to give it to her to show it on her videos, so then that way their target market goes to buy their product because this influencer is representing them. A social media takeover is where you're a company and you need to tap into someone who has a following or someone who has a certain target market, not the same product, but the target market. It's about your audience. And so if you have a micro target and one of these influencers has that target market and they have 1 million followers, 5 million, or even 500,000, it just depends, then you can create a collaboration and say, can I take over your social media for 1 day? And you do posts on their social media on your company directing your message to their target market, but it's a complement for their target market, and it helps their target market. So social media takeovers are they're really expanding into corporate America. They're allowing their employees to actually take over their social media websites for a week because their customers want to hear how great it is to work there. So it allows them to have this brand equity and brand awareness that's a little bit different than just doing an advertisement. And then also networking. You can network online. I do virtual coffees. I do virtual webinars. I do all of these things to connect with individuals that may not be in my own backyard, so that you can have clients and resources and networks, not just in your small community, but you can expand your reach as well.
Follow up to that is, what's a good budget range for a social media takeover? Because I would anticipate that some influencers want more than just your brand. They want some cash in exchange.
No, I have never had anyone ask me for any cash because they're getting paid through the ads on their social media sites.
Got it.
So the more people, if I'm gonna get my target market, and that's gonna bring more people to their brand, and they can use me as a reference to say, oh, I worked with this company, it's about collaboration. So that's where you look at the value. Value is not always in dollars. Sometimes it's in number of people, it's type of people. It could be, you might only have 50 people in your following, but if those 50 people are targeted and they're focused and they buy, then that's going to be valuable to someone. So what it is, it's about creating a connection, you know, and that connection needs to have value for both parties. And so that's where, you know, you can have a great website and you can have a great social media Facebook page. You can even have a good social media following. But if your content is not targeted, if you don't know how to speak your business powerfully on video, on non-video, or in person, if you don't understand where you're trying to go, if you don't understand the brand promise that you're trying to communicate, all of those things will have no value. So you have to have your business, like if I were to ask everybody to give their elevator pitch, I mean, we can give elevator pitches, but if you're like directly in front of your client, I may say something different to you than I say to this client or that client. So you have to know who you're targeting, and your content, your resources, your focus, your image, how you present yourself, those have to be on point. So don't just go get a website. I hear a lot of startup companies, website and marketing, but do you know what you do? And do you know why you do it well? And do you know why you do it better than your competition? That's strategy. And you really got to focus on that. And you got to start educating yourself beyond the free events. I'm sorry. But you can go to only so many free events. Eventually, you have to invest in your education. You have to invest in every single person that's up here helping you. And it's not always a dollar value. What